Hey guys, I'm Bryson here. Welcome to my show. And today we're about to take a look at a professor from a university here at NYU. But the idea is he's going to tell us exactly how to become a millionaire. However, whenever I hear a professor telling you and giving you advice, I always wonder, did he actually do the same thing? Or is he just telling me, do this, but is he not taking action? So I want to find out exactly what he thinks when it comes to how do you actually go out there and become a millionaire, okay? So make sure to also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you're notified every time I post a new video on this channel. And on top of that, also destroy the like button. Now, without further ado, let's find out exactly what this professor thinks about how to actually go out there and become a millionaire.
Most of us when we're younger believe that we're going to have the big win. We're going to hit the home run and have a big liquidity event. But again, assume that won't happen. But how can you guarantee you will be a millionaire?
Okay, so right off the bat, what it sounds like he's saying is basically most people think that basically they're gonna hit the lottery all of a sudden and then become so wealthy. But they also think that's very impossible to happen, but they also rely on it. So what is the best way, theoretically, to guarantee yourself success and to actually go out there and become a millionaire without having to hope, oh my gosh, the lottery ticket, okay? In my opinion, it's probably going to be, for example, index funds, real estate, or for example, just going out there, for example, and just creating a business and then creating income through that also. But the overall key is usually just building up passive income and also getting yourself financial freedom, FF. This is the best way to become a millionaire, okay?
The definition of rich is having passive income that's greater than your burn. My father, between his pension and between his Social Security and his wife's Social Security and pension, their household income is about $48,000 a year. They spend $40,000.
All right, okay, I see where he's going with this. His idea is that, hey, as long as your passive income that comes in without you having to work is over how much you actually spend, in reality, you're rich, you're wealthy. You don't have to go out there and spend or work, whatever, right? So the answer is, guys, I actually agree with this. And I actually came up with a number a long time ago to how much money I would need to actually have financial freedom like he's describing right here, okay? And my number has always been $70,000. So comment down below and let me know how much money do you need to be making every single year passively to be okay without having a single job. However though, his parents are obviously older. Maybe they don't want to work anymore. But my whole thing is I want financial freedom to have more options, but I plan to be working like for the rest of my life. I don't plan on ever retiring, but it's good to know like, hey, I have financial freedom. Anything happens, I'm good to go. I'll be just fine because I have enough money coming in than I actually spend. I like this guy so far, man. I like teachers like this that I should keep it real with you and basically say like, hey, not everyone needs to be a millionaire or billionaire because in reality you don't. You don't. As long as you have enough money coming in without having to work for it, you're good. You're solid.
They are rich. They have more money than they need without having to leave the house and work. I also have friends here in New York that make me...
I agree. The last thing you want to do is live in paycheck to paycheck.
Between $1 and $3 million a year as investment bankers or partners at a law firm. And between the alimony to their ex-wife, their house in the Hamptons, their fat co-op on the Upper West Side, and private school tuition, they may make $2 million, but they spend $2.1 million. They are poor because...
Yeah, that is 100% true. And whenever people think about like, hey, paycheck to paycheck means that you don't make a lot of money, so you're broke, you work at McDonald's. In reality, no. Paycheck to paycheck basically means that, hey, you make money, but you spend more money than you actually make. And the statistic goes that basically the average millionaire in America has a normal 9-to-5 job. So saying paycheck to paycheck doesn't make any sense. It's all about how much money do you keep. So imagine someone like this, okay, making $2 million every single year, but his wife's alimony, his kid's private school, his expensive co-op, his rent, all this stuff combined basically means that every single year he spends way more than $2 million. To me, that sounds like insanity. But in actuality, there are a lot, well, not like crazy a lot of people, but there are a lot of people, both poor, rich, that live paycheck to paycheck because they don't understand, hey, always live below your means. They don't understand that. They don't comprehend that, okay? And most of the time, people love that whenever they get a job, a brand new job, usually they always want to usually bring up their expenses. And that way, again, they live paycheck to paycheck, and you want to avoid that at all costs.
Because they have the stress of knowing if there's a hiccup in the economy or they lose their job, they're in deep focus.
I like professors that keep it 100% real. I feel like this guy would actually be a lot of fun to talk to and actually learn from, okay? He's actually very natural, very realistic with you, and he explains everything in a very simple way, okay? I like this so far.
Focus on your burn and have an honest conversation with yourself around how do you get to a point of true wealth and being rich. And then,
by the way, by burn, he means your expenses. Focus on how much money you're actually spending every single year, every single month, every single day. And focus on that and be truthful with yourself, okay? A lot of people say like, hey, I need to be rich. Do you want to work 16-hour days? Do you want to work 10 hours days? Or do you just want to basically work 8-hour days, put some money away, and then in 10 years or 5 years be financially free? The answer is it depends on you, but you don't have to do something because like the norm. You just have to do things that actually you are comfortable with. If your expenses are only like 50K every single year, in actuality, all you need passively is around like what, like $65,000 or $70,000 to be like good. The honest truth is, be honest with yourself, okay? Be very, very honest with yourself.
that is getting to a point where with passive income from rental properties, from dividends, from some sort of a pension, from the money you make from stocks, that at some point that will be greater than your burn. But also figure out how you get that burn to a manageable level such.
Yeah. Notice what he said there, guys, okay? He basically said you want to make sure that your expenses are manageable, okay? They're always manageable and within your means, okay? And by the way, he just described a few income streams that are actually passive. For example, dividends is passive, rental income is passive, stock investment income is actually not that passive if you're actually going out there and actually picking stocks and stuff like that. It can be passive, but for a lot of people out there, they want to be buying and buying and buying, and that's almost like a full-time job, okay? Kind of like flipping property, so you have to be careful. But the idea is passive income is key when it comes to financial freedom, but also understanding and limiting your expenses is also very key. For example, although I might make like $20,000 every single month in actuality, I don't even know how to spend that money, to be honest with you, right? What I spend that money on is basically investing and making more money. But by spending that money, I wouldn't know what to buy with that money. Like, oh my gosh, do I need a car? No. Do I need to buy a fancy apartment? No. Do I need to buy a fancy house? No. The answer is I'm only worried about basically building up financial freedom. And to do that, I can spend infinite amount of money in the stock market and rental investments, but I don't see the point of going out there and spending a ton of money, raising my expenses, having this fancy lifestyle, and before you know it, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and I do not want to be that person, okay? Just be very careful with that.
That this will overtake this sooner rather than later.
And by the way, guys, okay, if right now currently you are living paycheck to paycheck, the best idea to actually do is basically sit down with yourself, calculate your income after taxes, and then calculate and list down all of your expenses. And that way you know exactly, well, how much money does it cost me every single week, every single month to actually live? And then you can see like, hey, maybe I don't need this, that, this, and cancel all the things you don't need. And that way you can get to your goal of financial freedom a lot faster, okay? The whole thing is you always want to have extra income every single time you actually get paid. Very important.
If I could give you a magic box and tell you that if you put $1,000 in that box at the age of 25, by the time you're 65, you could open that box and you would have between 15 and 25,000. How much would you put in the magic box?
A lot. Let's be honest, a lot. But you know, people say a lot. People say like, yeah, I'm gonna put in so much money. But the idea of like 25 to 65, that's 40 years, right? So the idea that I have to wait so long to actually become wealthy is something that's just like, oh, I can't do that. I don't want to wait that long, right? Most people say that, you know, but that's not what he actually means. The point is, you want to have a plan B if you love your job and you want to keep investing. Okay, so that's the idea. No one is telling you stop living your life. That's not the whole point here. The idea is you want to make sure you are investing, because in the future, the more you invest, basically, the better off you'll be. Okay, so for example, I did some math, and if I invest $500 every single month for like 40 years or so, I have like around between like 1.5 to like around $2.5 million. Okay, and that sounds pretty cool, but there is actually a better way to actually do it. There's something called the 4% rule, and basically it says that if you put a lot of money into your retirement fund and you basically grow it very, very quickly, the answer is if the stock market is growing at 7% and every single year you're only taking away 4% from a retirement fund, in actuality you can take money out, live passively without actually worrying about running out of money. So for example, say you actually maximize everything and you manage to save around $2 million, right, in your retirement, which is going to take you maybe 15, maybe 20 years. But if you're like 25, that's around until you're 45 years old and not when you're 65 years old. Big difference if you ask me. So you have $2 million and every single year you take out 4%, right, times 0.04. That's around $80,000 every single year without you actually having to work. But the good thing about this is because it's 4% and the stock market grows at 7%, sometimes even 12%, in actuality, you won't run out of money for a very, very long time. And that way you can retire a lot faster. That is the idea. But by the way, guys, okay, the stock market is just, I think I messed up my hair. But by the way, guys, the stock market is just one area. You also have real estate, right? You want to build up your dividend income. You can start a business if you want to. The idea is every time you get paid, just take some of that money, invest some of it, start a business with one, save up for real estate, just start to build up some streams of income. The average millionaire has around 7 streams of income. If you only have one, start with another one, and keep building and building and building. That's the core idea.
Pay yourself first every month. Force yourself to save a little bit of money. Saving a little bit of money at a young age goes a long, long way in case you don't have that big liquidity event. Children focus on.
Yeah, that is 100% true. You know, people are hoping and wishing like to win the lottery. And by the way, you know, there was a time when basically I would wait until I'm done paying off all my bills and everything I wanted to then actually go out there and save money. The answer is you would never have money to actually save. So what you want to do is as soon as you get paid, take out 10% minimum and put that money to the side and save it or invest it. That's what you want to do. Usually you want to A, build an emergency account. B, start investing. C, start building some passive income streams. For example, real estate, dividend, whatever it is. But the idea is you want to start creating money that comes in without you having to work, and that is called having money work for you. But you want to work to actually minimize your income to a point where you're spending half, maybe even less than half of your money that actually comes in your expenses. So 50% goes to your expenses, and then 50% goes to you actually building up and investing your money and creating passive income. And eventually, when that passive income becomes very, very big, well, you can actually live a better life if you want to, but it's not really necessary if you ask me. It just depends on what lifestyle you actually want, okay? A 70K a year lifestyle for me is like living like a billionaire lifestyle, to be honest with you. But by the way, billionaires don't even do that much, to be honest with you. If you look at Warren Buffett, he lives in the same house, the same neighborhood, wears the same clothes. So when I think about billionaires and millionaires, that's what I think about. That's my hero. That's my image.
On their earnings, adults also focus on the other side of the ledger, and that is their burn. Most people, it's natural behavior to spend everything they make. Adults start.
That is very true. It's very natural to bury. I see all the time, you know, people say, hey, I have this much money. What am I going to buy? The answer is don't think about what you're going to buy. Think about what you're going to save that money or invest that money into. It's very normal, you know, because basically the economy, America, everything points to like, hey, spend this money, spend this money. There's ads everywhere, right? It's like the nature of the culture thing, right? So the answer is stop worrying about what you're going to spend your money on. Worry about what you're going to save or invest your money on. That's the best thing you can do. Do not spend all the money that you actually make. It's a very, very bad idea. And do not depend on like, just like, oh, I'm going to be retired with a pension. Don't depend on that stuff. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. You always want to have your own money and making sure you have your own investments. Be very, very careful dependent on just the government, okay? You never really know.
Putting a little bit away because it aggregates fast. Time will go faster than you think, and savings will compound faster than you think. But the people that have the discipline.
Yeah, that is so true. You know, I think when I was like, I think when I was 12 years old, I wanted to be 18 so fast, you know. And you might think, Tommy, for what? For what? The answer was I want to be 18 because I wanted to play like M-rated games and also R-rated movies and stuff like that, to be honest with you. That's really what I wanted to be 18 for. But overall, you know, you're like, I want to be 18, I want to be 18, I want to grow taller and all this stuff. In actuality, you blink and like you're 18, you blink and now you're like 23 like I am, okay? The answer is time passes very, very fast. So make sure, okay? There's a great quote on this, okay? Time is going to pass either way. Just make sure you spend it on building up your assets and creating passive income streams. It's going to pass either way. And I don't like the whole thing of like, hey, you know, in the end, we're just all gonna, you know, we're not gonna be here. So what's the point of saving? The answer is the point of saving is Why do you want to live the rest of your life in stress and also worrying about like, hey, where's my next paycheck? That is a horrible life to actually live, if you ask me. And I can tell you it's bad because I've seen my mom go through it. I see my dad go through it. I see my family members go through it. And I can tell you something, it is not a pleasant thing. And if you ever gone through that, living paycheck to paycheck, not knowing where your next meal is actually gonna come from, that is the worst thing you could ever have. Okay, so just avoid that at all costs. Okay, avoid it like the plague.
Every month, put a little bit away and start focusing on creating passive income are the ones that are gonna be rich no matter or not whether they have that big hit.
There you go, and that is the end of the video. And the core idea of the video is, guys, that if you want to assure yourself wealth, what you want to do is start investing and start saving and also building income streams right now. Do not wait until like you're 40 or until you magically win the lottery, even though the game is stacked against you. You know, people, I'm so surprised when people actually play these games. For example, you play the lottery, the odds are against you. You do some day trading, the odds are against you. You do this option game and all that fancy stuff, the odds are against you. You want to play a game where all the odds are with you. The odds for actually just investing into index funds, they're all with you, okay? So just play the game correctly, invest over time. By the way, by investing, if you want to invest, download the app called ACORN and invest money into that. It's a portfolio. It's like, I use moderately aggressive. It's like 80% stocks and 20% bonds. And that way, over time, your money grows safely without having to worry about like, hey, what if the stock market falls? Doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter. You'll be solid, guys, okay? But overall, comment down below and let me know, how old are you currently right now? And by what age do you actually want to be financially free? Comment down below, let me know. And also tell me, how much money do you actually need to be financially free? And I'm asking you this because basically having a powerful why is very, very important. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video right here, well, guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. On top of that, follow me on Instagram, Bryson. And before I go, if you want to watch another video on Warren Buffett and what he thinks about investing and when to buy, when to sell, watch this video right here. Click my face right here to also subscribe to the channel right now. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.